We're just kind of leaning on you as far as whatever information you want to provide. So,
How long are we doing this?
usually they last about 2.5 hours.
I was going to say, because he can fail sometime.
I'll try to cut it out
gotta
a little bit.
Give him the open-ended question and just sit back.
Yeah, right. No. They usually.
Mic turns off.
Yeah. Oh shoot. So first of all, just kind of give us your name and your position at the companies you work for.
Name is Royce Van Roekel with Osceola Rural Water. Essentially, I'm a water treatment plant operator and do everything the manager doesn't do. So permits, easements, contractor alignment, one calls, inventory management is kind of the reason probably why I'm here. So, yeah, a little bit of everything.
Osceola is where?
Osceola County, Iowa, which is up near Sibley, Iowa, Okoboji, Iowa, Rock Rapids. We cover 2,000 square miles of county. Yeah. We're in 5 or 6 counties up there. So we have a large territory, about 3,500 services and 11 communities. Okay. So,
and how long have you worked there?
Just did 5 years come this last July. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do before that?
7 years as a high school educator for business education, and then did some insurance and investments before that. Yeah.
Interesting path.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school education.
Yeah.
What'd you teach?
High school business.
Business. You said that.
Yeah,
See, I wasn't listening.
No, that's all right.
See,
I
thought I was at home again. That all the time.
One of the students I had, his father is the manager of the rural water system I work for.
Okay.
So he persuaded me to take a look at the industry, and I actually educated kids to never ignore the trades because it's an aging infrastructure, and there's a lot of money to be had, and society doesn't always encourage that. So I tried to do that in my classes, and I wasn't about to pass up the opportunity, knowing that my upward growth was a lot higher in that area than education.
Good.
So, you took your own advice.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thanks, Bryce. I know it's Royce. I'm just kidding you.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, I was just kidding.
All right. I'm Mitch Tyler,
Yeah.
and I work for Fortiline Waterworks. We're a national company, supply house, and I'm stationed in my territory is Florida. I started off as a salesman there about 7 years ago. I came up with this idea. Right now, innovation is a big thing in our industry, and so my boss was asking for ideas, and I kind of came up with this idea to have an entire group built in our system that focuses just on municipalities. And so we took that from concept to reality in about 10 months. And I've been gracious enough to have a lot of good people, support me. I got a lot of good people that work with me. I've got 7 salespeople right now, and I have a paralegal and a contract specialist all in our group right now. And we're starting to find our little groove. But we found a need for this because, as he said, is that the infrastructure is deteriorating. Most of the people in our industry are going to retire. About 60% of our industry is going to retire in the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. There's a huge gap between the knowledge they have and the young people that are coming in. And so we're trying to make sure that one of our big advancements with this group is teaching, encouraging training, encouraging new product development, because we're only going to grow this industry and get more people involved in this industry by making it something that my grandfather didn't do, but something that we can build a future on.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you said it took 10 months to kind of bring that to life. How long ago was that?
That was last September.
Oh, okay.
I started last September. I approached him probably November of 19, and September of last year we went ahead and moved forward with it, and it's been an eye-opener. We find that there's a lot of cities out there that don't know about new products, that don't know about innovation, that they are hungry for something else other than, hey, we sell pipe and we sell brass. There's more to this job, and it's an eye-opening experience, truthfully.
What about before that?
Oh, I've had a long path. I grew up in this industry. I started digging ditches when I was 12. My dad owned a construction company, and being the youngest of 4, I wanted to do that with my brothers. And when I left, went to welding school, thought I wanted to do something like that. But my parents talked to me when I was 19, and they were like, what do you think about the industry? And I was like, I'll never come back to this. I'm done with dirt. I'm done with sweat. I'm going to college. Well, fast forward through some jobs, the military, I get out, and I got back into it in '09. Greatest thing I've done. I maybe have been a little naive, a little young. I think a lot of people have that
19
kind of.
19 is young.
It is.
I mean, we don't know a whole lot at 19.
No, when you sit there and you think, hey, I can, go and wear a business suit. It sounds so great. And then you go, wow, those people are really, now at 42, I look at them like, wow, those people are really unhappy. Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
And with this industry, you meet new people all the time. You learn different things from people, and it's a great way for us to expand as people in this industry is by meeting other people, and finding out what they do in Iowa compared to what we do in Florida. Yeah. So it brings a lot to the table. But my career brought me full circle, and my family's still in it, and it's a family thing now. I got 2 nephews, one that works with us now, one that's going into it in another place. So,
oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you mentioned family, so tell us a little bit about your family. Married,
wife and 2
dogs.
dogs, married for 16 years, so we've been together for a long time, and both heavily involved with soccer. So I was on the refereeing side of life. She was a collegiate soccer coach for 7 years, so she was either gone recruiting or I was gone refereeing. So dogs at home was perfect, and you can't lock a kid in a cage at home by himself. But you can a dog. So.
Yeah, they didn't like it when I did that. No.
What kind of dogs?
Yeah, we have a Chesapeake Bay Retriever and a Siberian Husky.
Okay, so the first question comes to my mind: have you ever refereed a game where your wife was coaching?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How'd that end up?
Well,
you're still married.
Yellow card.
We're still married. B, she also recognizes how much work I put into my refereeing on the backside of life. So referees are human. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
So even if she recognized that I may have made a mistake, she knows I'm still out there trying my hardest and trying not to screw it up. So
cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I have my wife and my daughter. So I've been married. We've been together for just over 13 years. Been married for almost 9. We've got a 6-year-old daughter who, when I'm not there, rules to roost, I believe. And so, but I have 2 dogs, 2 boxers, and yes, they are just like my children.
Yeah.
My daughter calls them bubbies. She takes care of them as much as we do. She loves them, and they're great. Boxers are a family pet.
Yeah.
They're a good high energy dog. Great for kids.
Oh yeah.
So you said when you're not there, she rules the roost. Why do I feel like when you are there, she might still rule the roost?
I think my wife tries to put her foot down when I'm there. Like, oh no, that's not the way it's done. But when I call, it's kind of like, oh yeah, she's doing that. And I'm like, wait a second, it's school night. Why is she having ice cream watching TV at 6:30? But. I give into it a lot. I'm a sucker for her.
Yeah.
I call them my girls. My wife and my daughter. They're my world. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the things that you obviously can tell from the way you guys talk about what you do in the industry that you work in, you're both extremely passionate about it. And you don't see it. I mean, a lot of people will look at different jobs and they're like, "Well, I'm going to work and I put in my 40 hours and that." Why? What about the job makes you so passionate about it?
Well, I think you alluded to it. It's literally something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get burnt out because I'm doing the same 9 to 5. I enjoy the personal relationships that you can either make with your customers that you're serving, your contractors that you're working with, your coworkers that you're doing the dirty jobs with. You're calling them at 2:00 in the morning for an 8-inch vein break. Yeah, it sucks, but you're all out there sucking life together.
Yeah.
And you get the job done, you pat each other on the back, and then you say, well, that sucked, and you go home together. But you're still a team, you still rely on each other, and it's a cohesive family. So everybody's working for each other. And in my world, you got a little bit of contractor life, so you're always kind of ribbing on each other too. So
Sure.
It's just like it's a family away from family type of situation. So you work hard, you play hard. And that's why I enjoy it so much. And you always have goals. You have projects that you're trying to accomplish and customers you're trying to satisfy. And you're not always going to be able to please everybody or get every job done on time. But I feel like it's kind of a constant pursuit, a constant race. And when we meet our goals, it's just another moment of success that I get to chalk up to. And it feels good. So, yeah.
Yeah, the allure of it for me was when my dad would ride me around and he'd go, "See that hydrant? I put that in.
Oh,
You
sure.
see that building? We plumbed that building.
Yeah.
You see all this fresh dirt? We cut all that up. That's pipe underground, blah, blah." You know, and there was something about his legacy. And my brothers do it. They have a legacy. And even though I'm more on the supply side of things, you know, my mindset is that I'm helping build something for the future. I'm helping, you know, leave a legacy that I can show my daughter, like one day, go, "Hey, you know what? That exists because I helped those people," you know. And it's having the desire to help. And there's a lot of people out there that's like, I love people. You know, the world seems kind of chaotic, but there's more people that love love other people than the chaos right now. And so I think with this industry, we can give back so much and feel uplifted by what we do because we're helping make sure that people stay safe. You know, we're helping make sure that people are getting clean water to drink. Think of all the countries in the world that don't have clean water. And, you know, the industry may look a little dirty at times and it may feel a little grimy, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, in the military, we always said embrace the suck. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what you do in 2 o'clock at night. You know, you embrace the suck because that's a good story later. Mm-hmm. Oh, you remember when we were on that job site and it was 2 o'clock and it was raining and started sleeting on us? And, you know, these are the stories that you go out with your friends and you discuss, and it's like you're leaving a legacy. Mm-hmm. And it means a lot to me to make sure that, you know, when I walk away from the end user, if I walk away from the manufacturer, that I've left a better impression than they arrived with. And this industry is full of people like that.
Good.
Yeah, that's so cool that you say that. When I started at AY, I really didn't totally get what we did, and I don't have this background. And meeting a lot of people in the waterworks industry, I think it's cool that even to be a small part of those essential workers that are doing that work, I've learned it's underappreciated and undervalued. So that's something that I think we've tried to do a better job of is shine a light on the fact of how important that work is. We just turn our water on and get a cold glass of water, take a hot shower. So many people just have no idea what it takes to get that resource to their home.
My wife, after all these years, and we were probably together about 8 years, and she came to me one day, and we were getting ready to have a hurricane, and we were starting to stock up and save water and all that, and I said something about saving water in the tub, and that way we could flush our toilet as long as there's not flooding. And she was like, "Why would we use clean water in the toilet?" And I had to explain to her, water coming to your toilet is the same thing that comes to your sink. She thought there was 2 different water lines that came into your house. And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how the system works. And if they start younger, you know, they'll be amazed at the little things. You're like, "Oh, I took that for granted. Holy cow. Like, I had no idea water came out of the ground 600 feet. You know, like, or in South Carolina, where I'm originally from, they pull from a river. People, you know, "Oh, wait, that's a dirty river." No, by the time Royce and his guys get done cleaning it, it is better than the bottled water you're buying. Yeah. And you're paying pennies for a gallon, you know, whereas a bottle of water costs more, and, you know, a gallon of water costs more than a gallon of gas.
There's a great story of one of my senior operators who's since moved on. Working with a young fella, and they excavated a main that happened to have a parallel right next to it. He says, "Well, why is there 2 lines there?" "Well, cold water, hot water." You know, it's just had no idea that was not the case.
Yeah, right.
So,
you know, it's interesting. People don't realize, you know, how, you know, water works or the concept of how you get water to your, until it breaks.
Right.
And then it's like, you know,
And even then,
they still don't understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't matter, just fix it, you know, because it's so easy to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants us until they don't have water,
Right.
or until they flush a toilet and it doesn't go away.
You know, by the way, if it's 2 a.m. and it's raining and it's sleeting, don't care.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no days off in this industry, and it doesn't matter if you're the manufacturer, because y'all get special calls and like, hey, we'll try to run some people this weekend. I'm getting phone calls going, hey, can you open up, in Orlando, or you got somebody down in Fort Myers, and then he's getting phone calls all the time, and he's calling people like me, and so it's a community that we have to build with our end users, with our manufacturers, and it comes together that way.
Sure.
And I really think that's a pretty huge fact too, because if we're working together as partners and I call him on a Saturday afternoon, he's probably knowing that that's out of the ordinary. He should probably pick up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So even though he's not on the clock, probably need to take that call.
Yeah.
So the relationships are huge throughout the entire industry.
Yeah.
I think talking to that younger generation, I know we've talked about this over the last couple of days, but I even explained to my kids, the guy next door worked for the water department in town for like 17 years, and explained like, Paulie will leave their Thanksgiving table to come help our family get water, and kind of explain what he does. It's easier when it's actual person that they can associate all of it with.
Mm-hmm.
It means something different. So I do think explaining that stuff to kids when they're in elementary school and middle school opens the door to them understanding what those jobs are more.
In a lot of the younger crowds, they see the people that may be a few years older than them that are working in the industry, and they may be slinging dirt in a ditch, or doing something like that, and they go, oh, I don't want that kind of job. Look at that. But what they don't see is that even if you go to a two-year school and go to a trade school, or if you go to a college, it's still going to take you 10 years to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to start off on top. And if you go to work straight out of high school and you go learn a trade, you go learn how to deal with water, sewer, go into the plants, within 10 years, I guarantee you're going to be making more money than your friends that went to college, because they're still paying back all their student loans.
Right.
You got to trade for free from people that have a ton of experience that are going to help you through life, and not just something that you're hoping that your degree will get you there. Something that you can do with your hands. And that was one thing my family always believed in. It's okay to use your hands for work. It's okay to get dirty. And that's the way and my 6-year-old daughter, she wears dresses, but she knows that when Daddy's working, hey, Daddy, can I help? If I'm working out in the yard or something, she's going to learn that same path.
Sure.
But it's a great industry for young people to get into that want to learn a trade and can make really good money. And I mean, not many of us are ever going to grow up and be, a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can work, and within 15 years you're 32 and you got a house almost paid for, and you got a car almost paid for, and then you're hearing your friends complain that they got $1,000 a month college, repayment for the next 15 years. You feel sorry for them almost.
Yep.
And so they'll bring you in, they'll train you, they'll spend all their money on you, and you'll turn out to be a pretty good person.
Yeah. One of the things that you mentioned, we've heard it before, and I kind of want to get both of your perspectives, is 60% of retiring in the next 5 years. We kind of call it the silver wave as far as next generation coming through. In addition to that, I mean, that you can kind of see just because of the age of the people and so on and so forth. But what are the intangibles that you see changing in the next 5 years in the industry that you're going to say in 5 years, you're going to say, see, I knew that was going to happen type of thing, or, that it's going to really change the industry as a whole?
Oh, it's going to be huge into technologies.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start seeing more automations when you're coming to the water or the sewer side. Most of it's going to be on a tablet. Most of it's going to be on your phone. You're starting to see it now with cities trying to go more paperless. So everything's done, documents and everything are done on site with that. But it's only going to get more, kind of like what we were talking with things that we hope to see with new products, that you're going to see the younger generation bring in all those years of video gaming and iPhone stuff, and they're going to say, why can't we use these kind of controllers for this, or why can't we use this kind of technology for that? And they're going to bring it in, and they're actually going to make life easier, because technology, when it's done the right way, it makes everybody's life easier.
Yeah, they grew up on it. It's going to be an expectation in a different kind of way.
We actually just bought a drone last week to do various tasks for our company. So it's spot on.
Cool.
That is cool.
But with all of that, you're going to hate this. Everybody's going to hate it.
Don't make him
You're
cry.
going to see higher water rates
Yeah.
coming very soon.
Yeah.
Because with your silver wave, you're going to see infrastructure needs, and these new products are going to be coming out maybe that these senior operators have been ignoring for a long time, thinking, I've got 3 years, I've got 2 years, I've got 1 year. Why, if it can last, we'll let the next generation take care of it. And it's going to cost more later than it is now. But if your water systems haven't been doing their due diligence with the proper amount of water rate increases over time, and people take the cost of water for granted.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody's got to pay for it. And water utilities typically don't make profits because they're municipal entities. So I think you're going to see water rates increase.
You'll find in the water industry is that a lot of people in the water industry call water meters the cash registers for the city. The bad part about that is that you get the money from the cash registers, the water meters, but the cities use them for everything else instead of the infrastructure that we need replaced. And that's where you come into some of the piping that we talk about replacing, some of the valves that need changing out and stuff like that. Is that it's not easy to come up with $11.5 million for certain tasks and jobs. So as he's saying, is that there's going to have to be an increase somewhere. A lot of these cities have been sitting back on their hands for a while, and it's kind of like having your car. You don't go and change your oil. It's going to finally tear up on you and just break down. But if you try to take care of it, it'll last you longer. You do maintenance as you go. And that's what I think is probably one of our biggest faults in this industry. Maybe because
country.
Definitely.
And because maybe it's because we're a lot short-staffed in a lot of places, a lot of cities I go to. Hey, how many people are you? How many openings do you have? Oh, I got 10. Oh, I got 3. I got 16. And it's like we need to focus on the kids that are coming out of high school and the kids that are coming out of technical schools and things like that, because we think that we're just going to find somebody that's going to walk in on the street and maybe find an application online and they'll fill it out. But we need to go get these people and inspire them and show them that, hey, look at all this goodness. You may have some really bad times, but look at all the goodness that comes with it. Look what you do for mankind.
Sure.
And
Higher
And
wages.
there's a lot of pride in the bad
Yeah.
times too. It seems like
Yeah.
like even in the foundry, that's some hard work, and there's a lot of camaraderie that's built between the teams. It sounds a lot similar to what you were talking about.
Yep. Well, I think your higher wages help lend that it's a professional occupation at the same time. They're working hard, and they deserve to be paid well for their hard work.
Definitely.
So, not only does it have to pay for infrastructure improvements, repairs, but your staff is going to demand higher pay over time too, if you want to fill those open positions.
and they were essential. They
Yeah.
Right.
they were through they've been here since all of COVID. Everybody kind of overlooks, oh wow, we still have water during COVID. Those people didn't go home.
Right.
They were still out there fixing stuff, still
Right.
interacting. So you saw one of the things that we tried to do for the municipalities was like during the main parts of COVID, the first 6 months, go out and just say, hey, we know you're not seeing people, but we want to say thank you. The cops were getting, food. The nurses were
Yep.
getting food. So we were trying to send food to cities going, thank you, because we know they're short-staffed, and now they're working around the clock. Everybody's at home, huddling up, making sure they don't get COVID.
Right.
And here's the frontline workers going out there, and just kind of they blend in.
Right.
But they're essential.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No doubt
We need
about it.
more of that for sure.
So, we've obviously spent the last couple of days together doing, having different meetings and that sort of thing. You think of Florida and you think of Iowa. Are there a lot of differences, really? Between obviously temperature and things like that, but general insight as far as the industry is concerned, do you kind of see a lot of similarities, you think?
Oh yeah, and I think it always goes back to the people.
Yeah.
People make the industry as a whole. I think everybody's willing to open up, share their knowledge, share that. Hey, have you tried this? Oh, I never thought of that before. Or, hey, I had this fail on me once. Hey, now that you mentioned that, me too.
Yeah.
So I think the people really are pretty. We've met people from coast to coast while we're here, and I think they're all pretty well the same.
Kind of cut from the same cloth. Just
yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
serve other people
Yep.
and get the job done.
I think in nature people are good, so at least I like to think that way.
I think that no matter where you go, our industry is pretty standardized. You used to have cold weather. You're gonna do things a little bit different than you do in Texas or in Florida. But I'd say 75-80% of the stuff we do is going to be the exact same. We all make sure water goes one way and sewer goes the other, and how we do it sometimes may be just a little different, but we all use mostly the same products. And we like talking amongst ourselves because we like finding those little products that will help ease our life. Like, oh my, I got a customer that will love that. Thank you for telling me that. I'm taking pictures, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
And because we may be 1,500 miles apart, but we still have the same problems.
Right.
So it's a lot. There's more similarities than differences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the summit is actually just bringing people together from across the U.S. and the information that you guys share with each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefit in that.
Yeah. What you guys give us your general impression of how the summit, what you thought of the overall concept.
I've been to different companies that kind of do something. Hey, come see our stuff. Never had a company sit us down and go, you tell us how to improve. You tell us what we're doing wrong. You tell us what your customers are seeing or what your end users are seeing. And it means more to me because y'all were willing to listen and y'all were taking notes and y'all were trying to help improve. Whereas some of the other companies are, they're like those older guys you got working for them. We're just kind of set in our way.
Yeah.
We're just going to stick with what we know. We're not going to try to make anything a little bit better. It's just going to be like it is right now. And
I've had other manufacturers with recommendations that people are screaming about, and they won't modify their products because it's just the way it is.
Oh, absolutely.
They could make hundreds of thousands of dollars just from us alone, but they won't change the one item that prevents us from doing that. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, the whole premise of it is, and why probably they have me do it is I'm not looking to sell anybody anything. I would literally be the worst salesperson ever. And so it's a learning experience for us, and you have to go into something like that knowing I'm not the one who has any of the answers, and how do you get those out of people is really the goal.
Yeah.
My dad used to tell me all the time, he goes, all these products that we use was invented by some guy that got tired of doing it the old way and thought of something better.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. And he'd be like, you see this wrench right here? There's probably a man sitting on a beach somewhere because he patented this. And then this morning watching the video, and they were talking about, the wrench that A.Y. McDonald invented. I was like, that's the guy. He was sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
But it does.
165 years later.
Yeah. So that's great. Well, we appreciate you guys taking your time, both this week, but as well as today, just kind of giving your insight into the industry. And, we ask that everybody out there goes to www.
You didn't, there was no part of you that thought that was going to happen one time.
Yeah, what?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
adorable.
thought I had it.
Yeah.
Write it down.
No.
So there's a closing to each of these.
Son of a. What?
Just copy and paste.
So get comfortable. And go.
Okay, hold on. What am I supposed to say again? So, just so you know, I will be thanking you probably about 6 times. As sincere the first time now.
You're going to
it's
feel the
just like,
love.
Well, this guy
do
really
that
likes
shit.
us.
Yeah. So. But Royce and Mitch, I appreciate you taking the time and giving us a little bit of your insight into the industry, and ask everybody out there that if you have any ideas as far as additional thoughts as far as
You wrote it down, and then you look over there. You want me to hold it up over here?
I think looking at the camera is really what's
it is.
So
Yeah.
just focus on the microphone. With the paper behind
For
it.
anyone out there with any ideas, you got it. Third time's a charm. You got
All
this.
right. Well, so Royce and Mitch, we thank you for taking the time out and give us your insights as far as the industry is concerned. And if you have any ideas out there as far as future after-hour broadcasts, feel free to email us at ayafterhours@aymcdonald.com and follow us on the socials. Drop the freaking mic. Boom.
That was only 3, by the way. Not 6.
You do it next time. It's
Well,
not that easy.
Why would I cheat myself out of this experience?
I understand now why, when you see the outtakes in movies and shows and everything, why they chuckle so hard, because
Oh, yeah.
you're watching them and you're just like, he didn't get it right. He's not gonna get it right. You're just waiting on it.